when there's an argument that why do we need this bill, there is certainly a reason why. When we're talking about underrepresentation of women, okay, you're underrepresented, but what are the consequences of this underrepresentation? Political representation, and also representation within the other sectors in the country. What is the consequence?
Purely the consequences will be purely there. Why do I say that? Is because when we are not well represented, we will still remain marginalized. We feel that we will not be well represented, and so men will always dominate these spheres. And some
will say, is it a bad thing?
Yes,
it is a bad thing.
Very bad thing.
Because Zainab,
yes,
we are talking about addressing power imbalance here. By addressing power imbalance in political space, it will have effect on other spheres as well. The moment you address power imbalance in a political sphere, that means the same will be felt, the impact will be felt in social and economic spheres. As long as we are not going to address imbalance in political space, and we don't give women opportunity to sit at the decision-making table, then there will be no growth when it comes to social and economic sectors. So it is all tied. It is all tied.
Right.
And the other thing, of course, we will get ourselves into constitutional crisis, because the constitution demands and requires that we secure an affirmative action and ensure that at any given time for elective or appointive position, there is no one gender getting
more than two-thirds.
If we don't fulfill that, that means as a country we are not committed to what our constitution says and the international, regional, and other instruments that we've committed ourselves to.
Right.
Yeah. Also, the parliament should be dissolved. Remember, during CJ Maraga, he actually ruled that government should be dissolved until it is constitutionally constituted. So if it is not, if we don't go through, because as it is, we are not constitutionally constituted.
So what does that mean for us? Because yes, when that happened, that was in 2015, I believe.
Yes,
yes, 2015, and the CJ had directed that parliament be dissolved. It was a suggestion, but that
it was a ruling. So
it was a ruling.
It was not a suggestion. Because he had to give, given the case that had been presented to court.
It was a ruling. But nothing really happened. Parliament was not dissolved. So then, where does that leave us?
Because then I will test the president's political will on that one. Because he's supposed to call, the parliament should dissolve because it is not constitutionally constituted. But you have an opportunity as parliament, if parliament is watching, represented by my sister, to make it right so that we don't go that route. Because if we claim to be a country that follows the rule of law, then that should be the first thing we do. And I know we have suffered not just because of, I think we get ourselves in this mix because we fail at party level. Parties, and IEBC also failed women for me, because they had an opportunity to reject the lists that were coming from parties to say, excuse me, they've not met the constitutional threshold. And then force parties to be able to get this right from the party level. So that as we move to the electorate level, then we have put almost enough women on the ballot, on the final ballot, for people to choose. But you see, parties would see even a seat they know they will get, whether they'll get whether they campaign or not. They were not putting those seats, for women within their parties, not because they didn't have women within their parties. And so we have failed at party level, and I pray we don't fail at the parliament level.